Yeah. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, test 1 2. Good afternoon and welcome to Crossmalina for coverage of the TF Royal Mayo Junior A County Final between Kilmeena and Kilmeena. The national anthem is just over. Joining me today is Sean Carey, and Sean, Kilmeena would go into this game strong favourites, you would think.
Yes, I think Kilmeena would be everybody's favourites on paper. I think their form in the last couple of games has been so strong that the majority of people would see them as the eventual winners. But Kilmeena will have something to say about that too, I think.
They will indeed. We'll quickly run through the teams for you. Kilmeena, Kilmeena, as we said, unbeaten in this competition. First up we have Kilmeena. Paul Groden's in goal. There's a change of cornerback. Tomas Cill comes in for Paddy Kane. John Kane at 3 and John Ryan at 4. Niall Feehan, Stephen Staunton and Ronan O'Donnell complete the half back line. In the middle of the field, Jack Kearney and Kevin Ryder. Connor Madden, Sean Ryder and Keith Joyce are in the 45. And inside you have John McGlynn, Joey Smith and Derek Eveney. Kilmeena line out as expected with Aaron O'Haley, Cathal Doherty, Mathis Burke and Seamus McIntyre. These Irish names will catch me out, I tell you. Sean O'Connell, Sean Murphy at 6 and Brendan Moore at 7. In the middle of the field is Joseph McIntyre. Declan O'Murphy is his partner. Owen McGrath, Justin O'Haley is captain, and Joseph O'Corduff, and Derek Moran, Darren Murphy and Mark Tighe inside. Kilmeena, as we said, come into this game pretty much unbeaten, and it's an interesting. John Riley's team will be slight favourites, even though they defeated Kilmeena in the last year they got defeated by Kilmeena in the final last year by a single point. It's an interesting contest now today.
Yeah, and I think Kilmeena will find themselves on the opposite side of that coin this year, where they'll go into it as the favourites. They were underdogs last year, and ran Kilmeena very close. Paul
Lydon from Kilmeena is the referee today, and we're underway, and the game is, as we said, the pitch is very soft underfoot. There was a lot of rain made between last night and this morning, and you can see it from your pictures, the footprints of the players and the officials as they make their way off the field. But we're underway, and just that's turned over. Both teams will just be feeling their way through this game in the early stages, but you'd have to say that the conditions, apart from the pitch, are perfect for football. There's no wind, as an early mark is called inside there, and it's going to be the first opportunity for the first score of the game. Yeah,
that was good from Kilmeena, and they'll be looking to get off the mark here. They kept the ball well there.
That's a great start there. 1 point to no score, 2 minutes on the clock, and you'll have to say that it's going to be, those marks are very important in the early stages to get scores on the board.
Yeah, and I think teams are beginning to utilise that. You even see it in county football. It took teams a while to get used to it, but I see a lot of clubs now are using it very well, and that was a very good one there.
These two teams met in the Michael Welsh Junior final in 2019, and Kilmeena won that on penalties. It was a close one there as well.
Yeah, and I think they'll be evenly matched, and I think they met in the championship that year too, at the quarter-final or semi-final stage, I think, and it was a very close game as well.
And you can see the intensity in which the players are playing to here. There's a big crowd here in Crossmalina today for this all-important contest, and the prize on offer is intermediate football next year.
Yeah, it's a huge prize for both of these clubs, and you can see that Kilmeena really want this in the early stages.
A little give and go played inside to the full forward, and Joey Smith said he's carried the ball, says the referee Paul Lydon. He was caught between two minds whether to pop it off or look to recycle it back out again.
Yeah, and the early decision making from Kilmeena so far has been excellent, and that's the first strong footing that they've been on there.
There's a bit of an injury here. It looked like he got a bang to the head. It might have been accidental, but the physio will come in and have a check. But both teams, as we said, fairly competitive all year. They had good league campaigns. Kilmeena, they won their league. In the 5 championship games they've played, they've scored 10-74 and only conceded 124.
Yeah, and Kilmeena haven't scored that much. They've been very defensive this year, but I think they've been defensive for days like this to try and play against teams like this. But the intensity of Kilmeena is unbelievable. I've seen it against Ardee earlier on in the year in the championship, and they're bringing in an intensity that other junior teams don't seem to be able to match at the moment.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to get into the intermediate. And another mark, looked like he claimed it, but then if he puts his hand up, surely the referee has to give it.
Yeah, sometimes the refs actually blow it for the player, but on that occasion he put his hand up and he didn't get it.
Niall Feehan switching the play around, gives it over to Sean Ryder, the captain, has a runner off his shoulder, strong run in there by Niall Feehan, and again coming around on the loop is 40. Great block down by Brendan Moran there.
That's a great score.
Covered their own break, and it's good finish, 2 points to no score. Kilmeena lead And as you said, their intensity, their physicality, when you look at them in the jerseys, they're big players. They've a lot of strength and conditioning done.
Yeah, and I saw that at first hand with Arda in the group game. It was intensity that I hadn't seen really from Kilmeena. Obviously last year were on a different level, but they brought that to that game. And so far Kilcommon look a bit nervous coming out with the ball. Kilmeena are composed, and their intensity in the tackle and turnovers, looking to get marks. In the early stages they look very good.
And Kilcommon haven't conceded a goal in Championship this year. It's kind of like the irresistible fourth meets the immovable object.
Yeah, the king of defence versus king of the attack so far. Yeah,
so it's definitely Kilmeena on the front foot in these early stages. 2 points to no score. Good turnover there, won by the fullback Nathan Birkin, trying to break out with the ball. Kilmeena turnover. Kilcommon haven't really got into the attacking half of the field yet, as that ball is played long forward. Out in front, winning it there is Justin. He only comes inside. The captain leads by example. That's a poor turnover, and that's a high challenge. The player was going down. I think it was not intentional, so it's going to be Kilmeena coming away. Keith Joyce coming inside. Great work here by Kilmeena to that single attack for Kilcommon so far there. Paul McGarry will be a bit concerned in these opening stages. Yeah,
and it's Justin that's been on the ball, and that's who they'd want on the ball there, and again that's his scoring range.
Another shot from distance, but this one goes to the left, and it's the first wide of the game. It's Kilmeena, as you said, have settled quicker. They've got their game plan. They're happy to pack that instead. As you said, when you saw it yourself when you played Arda, it's very much an offensive game they play.
I mean, Kilcommon have numbers back, and I think you'll see Kilmeena players soloing up the field in space until they get to the opposition 45, and that's probably where Kilcommon will engage them. That's the way they've been playing all season, and that's the way they've started so far. But they'll need to bring something else up front, if they're going to score.
It's very much a counter-attack football game that they're playing, and it's dangerous, particularly in the opening stages of games, particularly in the final, as they're on the break again. Ball lofted high over the top. Kevin Ryder and his midfield partner there, Jack Carney. They're recycling the ball back out again. Kilmeena very comfortable, as we said, around the periphery. Kilcommon happy to defend in numbers, defend the D, and another shot from distance. But they've been their style. Kilcommon, sorry, they'll defend the 30 and force the teams to kick long.
And I think it has worked for them up until now. And most teams, I think they haven't really conceded any more than 10 or 11 points in any of the knockout games. Whereas today you're going to need yourself then to score. They haven't scored any more than 10. Today you're probably going to need to score 12, 14 probably to compete with Kilmeena, I think.
Long ball again out to midfield. We're trying to hold Kevin Ryder, trying to turn the ball over. He hits the ground, but he's up thankfully okay. As we said, the pitch very soft underfoot. Cross Malina pitch, not known for being dry, soft on a good to even as well. It does hold a little bit of water, but as we said, it's looking lush, good coating of grass on it. And both teams, as we said, trying to win their way into intermediate football for next year. Kilmeena have really only had that one kind of speculative attack into the Kilmeena defence. Kilcommon really want to, again, Kilmeena turn over the ball again. They're just getting numbers around that middle. They know how dangerous those two players in the middle of the field are. Yeah,
they're all going to a couple of Kilcommon forwards, knowing that most of the ball will go through them, and their intensity in the tackle has been super.
There's a break on this side by Ronan O'Donnell on the left hand side if they want to switch it, but it's with the other wing back on the far side. Pops it back inside Kilmeena. Again, Kilcommon happy to get their line of 5 across that 45, and they don't want to concede goals. They defend that 30-metre arc as well. And just to emphasise that point for the people at home, you can see the black shirts back there when they're trying to get out, and it's 4 points to no score. We have about 7.5 minutes gone in the first half. Trying to turn the ball over is Jack Carney for Kilmeena. Kilcommon, again, as we said, just trying to move that ball forward. It's interesting that they only hold the captain inside on the 45, and there's no out ball really when he gets his head up. Now he's really looking, and the sweeper back there playing a corner back is John Ryan, and he's able to double cover, but really brilliantly won out in front there.
Justin is a fantastic player, and everything goes through him for them. You can see there's a sweeper in front of him and a man marker, and if you give him the advantage on the ball in, he will win the ball. He really is a top player, and has been brilliant all season for them.
He's definitely their talisman when it comes to this team, as Kilcommon, and getting their first shot on target here. It's about 34 metres on the diagonal. Very little breeze, but that's mishit. It's dropping short into the square, but well cleaned up, and out comes John Ryan. Good work by John Kane back there as well, and you can see the runners left and right of him if he wants to use them. Shifts it to the player inside, gives it to Ronan O'Donnell. O'Donnell then to Kevin Ryder, little chip pass forward. Good work by the centre forward, Sean Ryder, the captain. The wing forward kept his run going. He's 21 metres out. Goes back outside. There's a runner breaking the line here as well, trying to pack through, but straight away the black and white shirts close on the ball carrier and trying to turn the ball over as Kevin Ryder gets the ball back, and it eventually makes his way to Keith Joyce. He's going to have a go, but he was off balance. Is it going to stay in play? It's kept in play. No, it's wide, says the umpire. But you can see there, as soon as they get inside the 45, the defence just crowds the ball carrier.
Yeah, and so far Kilmeena haven't been afraid to shoot from outside that arc that Kilcommon are protecting, and they've got a couple of scores off it so far. That effort there probably was a bit speculative and didn't end up in anything, but they're not afraid to shoot from beyond that zone, you know.
Yeah. It's going to be the goalkeeper. Aaron O'Hale's going to go short this time. He gives it to Sean O'Connell. He pops the ball left and right. Good work. Again, they try to build it slow and patiently from the back. And then they're getting the head up. Again, there's only the one player outside, Justin inside. And they're going to work the ball out here to Chomain. Tries to get away, loses a gum shield in the process. I think he's as he slips inside, trying to get options. That's the problem when you play this game. It's unless you're prepared to deliver an early ball in, you're going to be at risk of turning too many balls over.
Yeah, and I think Kilcommon will be quite happy to keep the ball for long spells in the game, because I think they're trying to keep the game close for as long as possible. Joe Mason did well there, you know, the Kilcommon number 8 in the middle of the field, and he held the ball well. The last pass inside was pretty poor, but again, Justin is your only outlet, and it's going to be difficult for him with two people on him.
And Kilmeena losing the ball in the contact there. Was a dangerous solo to himself, and Ronan O'Donnell, who popped up on the left here a moment ago, is now over on the right, and it's Sean Ryder, the captain, chips a ball forward, trying to find the full forward of Joey Smith. It breaks kindly for the Kilcommon fullback. Driving out is Matthew Burke, and chips a pass forward. It's been noticeable that the handling of the Kilcommon players has been a bit off in these opening 10 minutes.
I think a lot of it is nerves too. They seem to have started nervously, you know, but the last couple of minutes there's been a bit better. There's been a change where they're hanging on to the ball that bit better, and they'll need to do that for long spells to stay in this game. And just as I say it, then they kick it away again, you know. But commentators cursed.
It was noticeable there, so for Justin O'Heal's side, he's got 3 players white shirts in front of him, and they're going to have to change that tactic.
Well, you're certainly going to have to vary it a small bit, because Kilmeena are quite happy to keep going and winning marks like this. And that's Joey Smith there,
he's already got a point to his name, 4 points to no score. Kilcommon probably need a score, maybe 2 or a block or something to give them a little bit of a lift.
Yeah, I think missing that free a couple of minutes ago there.
And he's missed that one now there. That's a poor wide on his good side, as the coaches would say.
Yeah, and you can see they're not afraid to let it into Joey at full forward there, and he wins the ball pretty well, and that was probably a free he'd normally get. And I think Kilcommon missed a free a couple of minutes ago as well that they probably needed just to get themselves off the mark.
Kilcommon, who were the champions in 2005 as well, they had a good run at it that year. You were playing Still yourself that year.
They won it in 2013, I think. Kiltane won the intermediate, and they won the junior that year too, or 2014, I think. 2013, yeah.
And it was a good year for that part of the parish.
For Eris, yeah.
But Kilmeena leading by 4 points to no score. Kilcommon yet to have a real shot at anger at the goal.
But that's
brilliant work
Absolutely
out in front by
brilliant.
Justin O'Hale. And there's a break on inside. Darrow Murphy's inside.
Not a goal.
Super goal. That's the tactic that they're looking for. They're looking for that ball one inside, pop it off. There's a Kilmeena player in the middle of the field with his holding his face.
Yeah.
We were following the play. I didn't see what happened, but there's a player down in the middle of the field. The Kilcommon defender who was probably marking him is standing over him, but a superb piece of play. That's what they're looking for, that ball inside and a runner coming off.
He has been, like Justin, to win that ball, 2 people there, he's second favourite for that, but he's been doing that all season. Like he was very good against Ardagh. We happened to play both teams, and his individual ability to win ball is something I'm sure that maybe Mayo might look at. I know he's playing at junior level, but I mean his ability to win ball and 2 people marking him, I don't care what level you're playing at, it's fantastic. That's why they've stuck with that tactic, and it has been very effective for them. them. And I suppose this game has panned out just like all their other games have. They're not playing well, but they're in the game.
They're in the game, as we said. They've scored, as you said, 541 they've scored, but they've only conceded 35 points, no goals. And as you say, that's their game plan. Counter-attack, hit at pace, score goals. They got, as we said, 10 goals. Kilmeena have got 10 goals in this competition. But as we said, Kilmeena have 5, but they've got them at key points in key games.
Yes, exactly. And I don't see them changing it up much, because I think they've been set up to play this way with the view to play in the likes of Kilmeena, a team that they felt they need to play this way to beat. I don't think they think they'll beat them playing open football, so I don't think we're going to see much change in that tactic or that variation, but Justin is dangerous.
Paul Lydon has conferred with his linesman here on the near side. He's had a conversation with his umpires just to see was there anything in the Kilmeena player go on the ground. I think it was Derek Eveney who hit the ground, but the referee Paul Lydon is happy there was nothing that shouldn't have needs to be punished, as the kick out taken by Paul Gowan, but that one's going to go out over the sideline, and it's going to be Chomain to have a pop inside. He's looking to look left, right. He's going to look for Darren Murphy, the goal scorer, but decides to go long inside one again by and there's a break on now. Justin O'Haley's going to have a go with his left boot. Thought he was going to pull the trigger there. That's a bad wide.
Yeah, and for Justin, that is a goal chance. I've seen him since he's been underage. Normally that would be in the back of the net. Now he wouldn't even be thinking about a point. That's probably another goal chance too.
The way he was shaping it looked like he was going to go for the top right corner. He was going to try and drill it, but in the end, I think he was probably caught between two minds, and he chips it wide for their first wide of the game. So it's 2 wides for Kilmeena, 1 for Kilcommon, and it's 3 points to 1 goal. It's a level game. And Kilmeena have lost the impetus after that goal, and Derek Moran is going to go inside and try and pop it again to the goal scorer. Player on the overlap is Joseph Curduff, but he's not able to get the ball, and they're a bit. And John Ryan, who's seen plenty of the ball back there, corner back in the early stages, turns the ball over, and Kilmeena are trying to get numbers back in that packed defence that they play, and Kilmeena are happy to kick the ball around. John McGlynn switches the angle of the play, goes back into midfield to Kevin Ryder. Player free on this left-hand side is Kevin. He's getting his head up as well. He's looking for the diagonal, Paul, but he's decided to look for the free player. Switches the direction of this attack. Little give and go. Good work here by Keith Joyce. Gives it to the wing-back Niall Feehan. Comes across then to the centre forward and captain Sean Ryder. Has a player free in the pocket. Good work by Keith Joyce. Comes off the inside of the upright, but no Kilmeena player in there. Gambled just in case. He was the wrong side of the post, to be fair to Joey Smith, but Kilcommon's goal now leading a bit of a charmed life.
Yeah, and I mean they are forcing Kilmeena to shoot from outside that zone, as I said earlier on, and while they were very successful in the opening minutes, they've had a couple now in the last 5 minutes that have dropped short and maybe gone wide, and Kilcommon are really in the game now.
Good work here, but on the back helping out his defences. Mark Tighe's trying to work high, and then back again is the goal scorer Darren Murphy back there helping. So as we said, they like to bring those players back, and they do like to win ball with their defence, as we said, and it's a high energy game that they're playing, and there's a turnover again, diagonal ball delivered inside to
brilliant right
Derek Moran. Good ball again. He's looking at options left and right. Owen McGrath is there if he needs him. He's going to have a go off his right, and he brings that round just over. We were right behind that score, and it started about a foot outside the right hand upright and came back inside, and that puts them in the lead. 17 minutes gone.
Yeah, it's funny. Derek Moran has come more into the game. I think Kilcommon have probably left him a bit inside now as well. It wasn't working earlier on. He's won the last two balls that have gone inside, and that was a great ball across to Justin. I think they figured out they needed more than just one guy in there, and he's been very good, Derek, as well.
It's a good adjustment from the management, and they'll be delighted the fact that they're back in the lead now by 1, as that kick out is won in the middle of the field by Jack Carney, who's had a big year for Kilmeena. As you can see there from your pictures, when the ball is passed, it just kind of drops dead. There's no give in this ground, as Kilmeena need a response. They haven't scored in about 4 or 5 minutes here. And Paul McGarry and John Riley have seen plenty in these opening quarter. Will be having a water break shortly, as Kilmeena look to draw things level, trying to cut inside his right. He has a cut with his right boot. That's going to be a 45. And the first 45 of the game it goes to Kilmeena.
Yeah, Kilcommon, like, I mean, in fairness to them, you know, they were second best for spells in the game so far, but that defensive structure is actually quite difficult to score against, and there's a reason they haven't conceded much more than 10 or 11 points all season, you know. But Kilmeena have, I suppose, the talent there maybe to open them up, but they haven't been able to do it so far.
Yeah, as we said in the first 10 minutes, it was Kilmeena all the way, and it's the balance of play has swung with that goal. Gives it a little bit, as we said, they needed something to give them a lift, something to give them a boost, and a goal definitely did that. And as we said, there's a big crowd in here supporting both teams today. As we said, intermediate football for 2022 on the line here in the TF Royal Mayo Junior A Championship. That's struck to the left and wide, and that's going to be the water break. So it's been a fairly pendulum swinging game for the two kind of sections of that first quarter.
Yeah, and I don't think either team has done anything different to what they've been doing all season. And you know, we've mentioned it before. Kilcommon's structure is very difficult to play against. It's hard to score against. I was surprised that they'd have conceded 4 points inside that short space of time. It's nearly half what they usually concede. You know?
We thought it was 4, but the score is 3. They've only got 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that somebody had got one of the ones that went wide. So, but 1 point lead going into that water break. I mean, Kilcommon will be delighted.
They will be delighted, you know. And I think the way to sum these two teams up so far, having come up against them myself, is you probably have the most impressive team in Kilmeena against probably the most impressive individual player in the championship in Justin, you know.
Yeah.
And in fairness to Derek Moran, he has provided him with a lot of good ball there as well. And I think that, you know, just that little change, whether it was meant or not, or whether Derek did it himself, but he's getting on the ball, it's given them more of an outlet than just the one, and you know, the scores have come from that.
Yeah, for the 5 balls that went into him, he only won 1 and the other 4 were turned over. But as you say, that little switch inside, that little bit of support from Derek Moran has made a massive difference there from a transition, not necessarily from direct ball in, but just changing the angle of the attack to left and right.
Yeah, and he look at, you don't have to give Justin much of a chance. If you give him a ball that he's capable of winning, he'll win it. As I said, he's a fantastic ball winner, you know. And
you were happy with the way Arda performed this year? Didn't get to this pinnacle, but
I was only with them for a short space of time, but they did very well against Kilcommon. By the time we got to 5 or 6 weeks with them, they actually were quite close in that game, you know. But that's Kilcommon again. They keep you there and take you out. Then
they suck you in, and then they go as Kilmeena driving forward. The wing backs, as we said, are very important to their attack, but this ball was a loose pass inside. There's going to be a free on the 45, and Kilcommon are able to build again from the back.
Brendan Moore, a bit of experience there. He seems to know where the ball is, and a very clever pass to release them.
Yeah, diagonal ball again, out in front of Justin. He wins it again. He's going to give it back to Moore, and he's going to have a go again. No, he's going to hand pass it over the bar. Sensible option. The angle was getting tighter. 1-2 for Kilcommon, 3 points for Kilmeena, and it's a 2-point lead. Good finish here. As we said, a little hand pass over the bar. It looks like they're going to make a change early. There's the linesman has his flag up this side. There is going to be a substitution, so there's obviously an issue. I think it's it's on the far side. They're going to make a change. And just see what number is going to come on. The referee says he's not ready yet. Or is it a blood sub, is it? It looks like Ryder, is it going off? Yeah, I think it's a blood sub, is it?
It looks like that, yeah.
Well, he looks...
Maybe he's not.
He's not.
Maybe
he
he's just
did have his left
off,
knee strapped, and I know he was a doubt before the game, so he's a bit inconsolable on the sideline here at the moment. He's taking himself off away from the bench as the game continues. Another ball delivered inside and one out in front again. The referee is having a close look at that. Didn't feel there was a foul. Kilcommon recycling the ball well, but that's a loose pass inside, and it's turned over well for Kilcommon, and they're breaking out in numbers again. There's a counter attack on here, but they do have, as we said, numbers on their left and right, and it's, as we said, a high energy game, and they're going to, on this heavy ground, that could work against them in the latter stages of the game. But as it stands, they find themselves 2 points down. That goal by Darren Moore making all the difference to Kilcommon, and they're getting their shirts back in numbers, and Kilmeena have a out ball on the far side if they want to switch it, and indeed they do. Goes over to the far side. There's little bit option left and right, but again, that black and white wall, when you look up and you see that, it's hard to find the little pockets of space, which is why Kilmeena are just happy to play the ball around the periphery of the 45, then create a little bit of space, and that's the captain that steps up, but he's put that to the left and wide as well. They're third wide of the game, and that's a bad miss.
It is, and Sean Ryder is a very, very good player. Derek Eveley gets a lot of credit for the scores, but Sean Ryder actually makes them tick, you know. And I think they'll need him on the ball more often, even though that didn't work out for him. If they're going to win this game today, you know, he's very important for them.
Yeah, and obviously his brother Kevin is over there now, not on the pitch, as we said, taken off. He'd be a little bit upset by that.
Yeah, I'm sure in this early stage he's probably disappointed, but Kilcommon have been good in the middle of the field, and Joe Mason is a handful for anyone. That's him on the ball there now.
Yeah, Kilmeena, as we said, this ground will take it out of the players. There's another player injured there. I'm not sure what it was, but it's the midfielder, Joe Mingan again, and they're working the ball left and right. Kilmeena trying to stop the impetus from building here for Kilcommon. A little bit of a slip there on the ground. It's definitely a day for the long cog as Darren Murphy tries to come left and right, chips it in field. There's players free left if he wants to go, but loses it in the contact after a strong challenge by the Neil Duffy. He's an able person to come in and take over, but I think Kevin Wright, it may be one of those that he might be able to come back on. He is limping a little bit, and a good mark called there. Great work again, as you say, by Derek Moore inside.
Derek has been, in fairness, I'm talking a lot about Justin, but Derek and Darragh Murphy have been excellent inside, you know, and their use of the ball has been very good.
Dangerous ball in, drop shot. I don't think he made a great, as you can see, a clean connection. It thought it was going to fall into the hands of Justin underneath the captain. He was going to fist it in, but the goalkeeper, Paul Groden, read the flight of the ball all the way, and Kilmeena can break in their line. They have 5-6 players in a line across the middle of the field now as they look to transition from back to front. Kilcommon again trying to get numbers back, and it's noticeable now they're holding 3 Kilcommon, and there's no sweeper back there. They've decided to go man for man, so Kilmeena will be wary of that as they're on the attack here. They have 2 player free on this left hand side, and Ronan O'Donnell has seen plenty of the ball at the wing back, and he's still free here outside the 45 if they want to switch it, but they've gone more direct this time. Comes inside to John McGlynn. He's going to have a go. Dispossesses. He was about to pull the trigger, touched on the ground, says the referee, and it's a free out, and Kilcommon look to go early. Coming across is O'Donnell trying to stall the play, gets turned inside. Good work there by Joe Mason. Joe Mason.
He's been excellent. Yeah.
He's definitely got on in the last sort of 10 minutes, got that midfield ticking over. And that's a ball trying to win it out in front of his man is John Kane. I think that's the best way to play, Justin, is just maybe a half a yard in front. But Kilcommon starting to find their rhythm, starting to find a little bit of pace, but they tried to call for a mark, but it was. I don't think it was classed as a full ball in. That's a little cheeky one, a 10-yard kick pass outside the 45.
And I think Kilmeena have been unfortunate with 2 as well in this half, where I thought they called for a mark and it should have been 1, but they didn't get it. That wasn't one anyway.
The little cheeky. That's where you taking advantage of the rule. But Kilcommon, as we said, in the ascendancy in this game. Kilmeena haven't scored for 10 minutes or more, and they're happy to play the ball around the edge of the periphery. Another player down on one knee as the ball is delivered long inside, but back there this time is Conor Madden, and that was a ball to nowhere. Yeah,
after showing great patience there, they had the ball for over a minute, I'd say, and then Brendan, an experienced man like him, it was a crazy pass inside, but they've turned it over
and
again.
And then John Ryan kicks it away. He's mishit that kick pass, and Kilcommon can build again from the back. And as we said, they're holding 3 now, 2 on the 45 and the 1 inside. But it looks like Conor Madden has been told to go back and sweep in front. So he's dropped back now for Kilmeena. They're worried about that ball inside as Joe Mason again trying to dictate things in the middle of the field. Gives it to Caval, goes long, but again, they've not picked that out. They haven't recognised the fact that Madden's been dropped back in there.
Yeah, and I think the 2 teams are set up pretty similar now, actually, for the last 5 minutes. And Kilcommon have kicked the ball down the sweeper's throat there, or the extra player back.
Loose passing again. It's Kilmeena have been guilty of some poor turnovers in the last 5 or 6 minutes.
I thought that was a Kilcommon free. No, I think he touched it on the ground as he lied on top of it there.
Yeah, a little chip pass round the corner. Good work. Ball delivered inside. Delivered in by Neil Duffy. And then there's a foul committed. This is going to be a free just on the 21 with a 30-metre arc. And it's 3 points to 1-2. And 24 minutes gone in the first half. 26 with the water break. So a chance for Kilmeena to get it back to within 1.
Yeah, and as we said there, that I thought Joe Mason was unfortunate there, that there was a free given against him here. I think the Kilmeena player touched it on the ground, and McGlynn won the free, in fairness to him inside, and you'd imagine he'll slot this. They probably need this because they haven't scored for
no, they haven't scored for 15 minutes now at this stage, and as we approach half time, it's going to be important to be as close as possible. As whatever breeze there is, it's probably coming across the pitch really. When you look at the flags there on the far side, he's going to hit this one off the ground. It's going to be Derek Keaveney. Makes a decent connection, but that's gone over the bar. I thought it looked like it had gone left and right, but no, it's gone over the bar. So that's another score.
And I don't think the breeze is going to be a factor in this game at all today. Underfoot conditions have been, and use of the ball has been poor at times, but it's not one of those classic November games where you're looking at a game of two halves. I think it'll be very similar in the second half. And
there's been no massive seismic shift with the water breaks. They've been very, very telling in a lot of the games that we've seen. But at the moment, both teams are trying to gain a period. And Madden, he's pushing forward when they're on the attack, and then he's dropping back when they lose the ball. So he's going to have plenty of running done off the ball as Kilmeena turn the ball over, and they're driving forward. Ryder, little pop pass inside, gives it off. Again, O'Donnell is free on this near side if they want to use him. Continue his run forward. There's taken out. There's two players fighting in the middle of the field here in the middle. It's the centre back. I think it's Stephen Staunton is having a wrestling match with his opposite number, I think, here. So I think Madden's trying to stir the pot.
two big men there.
You wouldn't want to get caught in the middle of that.
No.
Between Sean Murphy and things, and they're going to be
Mark Tighe and Steve Staunton. I think,
it's going to be
Steve Staunton is a tough defender, big strong physical player.
So the linesman is bringing the referee's attention to it here, as we said. The crowd were shouting as it was going on, so it's going to be another conversation for Paul Lydon and his linesman. There will be a free for Kilmeena on the 21, but I think this will be just a conversation between the two to tell them to cut out the mess and get on with the game.
Yeah, it would be harsh to do anything else in a game of this magnitude. I don't think it was anything major. It's the type of stuff you see going on all the time. I think if every back and forward that are locked together like that were sent off, there'd be nobody left.
Well, it looks like he's taking names. It'll probably be 2 yellow cards for each of them, for Mark Tighe and for Stephen Staunton. As you said, you wouldn't want to get caught in between the two of them now, to be fair.
No, both very good footballers and both very physical, and that's I suppose more difficult for a defender to be on a yellow now, you know.
And the other linesman is bringing his attention to something else now as well, so this could be more paperwork for Paul Lydon, our referee from Kilmeena.
I think other players were in around it as well after the initial thing, so that could be what he's making him aware of. But it doesn't look like he's going to do anything about it.
He looks like we're ready to get back underway with the football, and it's going to be Derek Keaveney with another free, this time from the left-hand side, and he's going to have a chance to draw the teams level.
Yeah, and it's interesting that while Kilcommon haven't given away many frees, you know, and it has forced Kilmeena to shoot from outside that zone, and they haven't been that successful. The last two frees are probably going to bring the game exactly where Kilmeena would want it. Now, you get the impression that if they don't give away any frees, it's going to be difficult to score.
Yeah, so the defender was yellow carded up here for the foul as well for the free, while we were just having a look at the handbag stuff going on back at the Kilmeena 45. So it's going to be another opportunity for Keaveney to hit it off the ground. Interestingly, not hitting it off the ground. Makes a better connection this time, drops it right over the bar. So 5 points to 1-2 as we approach half time. It's a single score game, and the crowd, as we said, well happy with what they would have seen both sides at the moment.
I think supporters will be happy because both teams are in it, and that's all you'd want when you're here as a supporter. You want a game that's competitive and close.
And that kick out comes off the outside of his boot, and he slides over. The referee says it's it's a free, says the referee. There was a push in the back, so it's going to be a free for Kilmeena taken quickly, and there's a shot at the post, and that's a brilliant fish. Jack Carney off his left boot from a tight angle, and he's got 3 or 4 of those this year from just little popping up in little places like corner forward.
Yeah, he had an injury that kept him out for most of the season. I think the group game against Ard actually was his first game back, and you can see that he's grown into the season. In fairness, it's hard to come back in the middle of the season and be up to speed, but that shows his ability, and I think everyone in Mayo is eager to see how he can do at the next level. He looks a very, very good player, and that was a very good score.
Brilliant score off his left boot, and the game. It's the teams are tied 6 points to. Sorry, Kilmeena are 1 point up, 6 points to 1-2, and Kilmeena are putting on the full court press at the moment, being encouraged by their management team here, and they turned it over. There's a chance here. Riders inside, right foot, goal!
Yeah,
brilliant work there by Kilmeena. Right after the initial score, they put on the full court press, allowed the short kick out. They went full press, won his own turnover, and Ryder puts it in the bottom right hand corner.
And that's what I meant earlier, is he needs to be more in the game if Kilmeena are going to win this, because he is what makes them tick, and it's no coincidence that he has had that little influence there. Now he gets the goal, and earlier on he hasn't been in it at all really, and that's probably why Kilcommon have got such a foothold.
And that all came from the poor kick out by the goalkeeper when Paul Lyden the free was given. It was delivered inside, and they're going to try and get something back before half time, finding themselves now 4 points down after being 2 up. And Kilmeena happy now to drop numbers back. They're only holding 2. There's 2 sweepers back at the moment, 3 back for Kilcommon. That they're happy to let their numbers go, and they're holding that 3, but drops the ball. Joe Mason gets it back up, and he's getting away from 2 white shirts. He's fouled, says the referee. Clever free to give away, but he's holding his hand again. Now he did get a knock on it earlier, and I'm not sure if it's he's definitely had an issue earlier, so he's down again, and he looks in a bit of discomfort. If they lose him, he'd be a big loss.
He has been brilliant. He's probably been the pick of the midfielders on both teams in the game so far, and he has been working so hard. Now he might be hurt, but I'm sure he needs a breather as well.
Yeah, he's favouring that left shoulder, so there's definitely something wrong. As we said, I noticed it about 10 minutes ago. He got a bit of a clip, but it seems to. I think he's going to try and persevere till half time.
I think the concession of the goal is really bad for Kilcommon, because, as you said, they haven't conceded goals in the championship, and their game plan is very important. You know, it relies on being defensively solid, and that goal is a big score in a game like this.
Ronan O'Donnell there seemed to win the ball cleanly over the shoulder of Owen McGrath, but the referee said no, it was a foul, so it's going to be a free for Kilcommon on the 45, and Darvin's going to have a go from here. It's right, 45 metres out of the hand. It'll be a big kick if he can get this one. As we said, they're 4 points down as we approach half time. Makes a good connection, but it looks like it's hooking left. Great take by Jack there as the referee blows the half-time whistle. Great take there out of the sky by Jack Carney, but it's been all about that goal in the last kick. It really in anger. Sean Ryder, the captain, turns the ball over. As we said, they put the full court press on that kick out, and they just forced the turnover.
Yeah, Paul McGarry would be very disappointed now, because his team had done everything he'd have wanted them to do, and then just before half time they kept Sean Ryder very quiet. Just before half time he works very hard, turns the ball over. Even the finish is a poor connection, but it ends up going into the back of the net, and all of a sudden it's a different game. Like, Kilcommon have conceded 1-6 now. I'd say they haven't conceded much more than 1-8 in all the other games so far, so it's going to be difficult, I think, for them. But look, the first half has been good for them. As
you alluded to, I haven't seen both teams close up. It was always going to be this kind of cat and mouse affair. As you said, the Kilmeena very much a strong running team, with Kilcommon looking to defend deep and push from the back and try and catch you out in the counter and use that transition ball inside.
Yeah, and I think you often find that in finals, is the team that comes in with the reputation and the expectancy, you know, can find it very difficult to deliver. We saw it in that final. Kilmeena were the underdog last year, and they pushed Kilmain all the way, as we said. And you see it so often with matches like that. And today is no different. Kilcommon have kept themselves in it through their tactics. While they mightn't be great to watch, it's very effective. And you have to admire what they're trying to do, because Kilmeena on paper probably have more talent, you know.
As you said, last year probably still is the motivation. I mean, there was 8 minutes of injury time. It was a 1 point loss, and that stung for a long time in the postseason. But here they did start very brightly. Kilcommon were always going to come back into it, but that goal has made a massive difference.
Yeah, and I think that's why Kilcommon will be so disappointed, and Paul McGarry will be as well, because if you could have got in without that, and you're that bit closer, like a 4-point lead for Kilmeena, the way Kilcommon are playing is a big lead, because you know they haven't been scoring any more than 10. No, they haven't been conceding much more than that as well, but that's the way they've liked to keep the games, and already then that's kind of gone out the window, because you have Kilmeena on 9 now, and I mean you have to think they're going to score 4 or 5 times between now and the end of the game.
It's a big ask for Kilcommon to come out and score 10 to win it almost.
Yeah, and they haven't been doing that. They haven't been playing that way. Now, to be fair, they have the players to play like that, but I do think they have been set up like this all season, knowing that if they're going to win a junior title, it'll be playing like this against one of the big teams. I don't think they're daft enough to keep playing that way just for the sake of it, but they think that gives them the best chance of actually winning the title today.
Plenty for Paul McGarry and his management team to digest at the half-time break. We'll take a little break here. Join us shortly, and we'll continue on with the Junior A TF Royal Mayo Championship final. And welcome back to Crossmolina for the second half coverage of the TF Royal Mayo Junior A Football Championship final between Kilcommon and Kilmeena as the teams make their way back on the field. We'll keep an eye out for any changes. There was a couple of concerns for Kilmeena, notably for Kilcommon, obviously the deficit, but also the Joe Mason. He was favouring his left shoulder as he left the field, so we'll have a look around and just make sure he's coming back on. I think I see him over here. He's still favouring that left arm a little bit, so I'd say that it'll take a couple of bulls and maybe a tractor to get him off the field if he has to be taken off. But
he's a tough boy. I don't think he'll be leaving here unless he's really, really badly hurt. And as I said in the first half, he has been very, very good.
So referee Paul Lydon just waiting for everybody to get into their position. As we said, conditions here very good for football underfoot. The pitch is soft as you can see from the footprints all over the pitch.
Maybe he is gone, is he? He's not in the middle of the field.
No, he's not. No, his 12 is on. Is that him?
He might be gone to wing forward.
But just for the throw in they changed it. So we're back underway, and 30 minutes will decide who's going to be playing intermediate football for 2022 as Kilmeena back on the attack again. Little ball forward by Conor Madden, who found himself playing sweeper in the latter stages of that first half. Little ball inside, gives it to McGlynn. McGlynn recycles the ball, comes back over to Joyce. Joyce is going to have a hook on his left, but that's another wide for Kilcommon. I make that their sixth, their first of the second half. They had 5 in the first half, and that's something that John Riley would be very unhappy with, that there shouldn't be maybe a little bit more distance between the two.
Yeah, because if you get a chance to take a shot against Kilcommon and you're not under pressure, I think you need to be putting it over because of the way they line up. But McGlynn played very well. They're lovely quick hands and managed to move the ball and create his own chance, and was unfortunate not to pop it over.
Short kick out again for Kilcommon. That's what caught them out for the goal in that first half, gave Kilmeena a little bit of breathing room as they come forward again, coming forward in numbers. Chip pass forward over to Mason there on the far side. That's a loose ball, and it's another turnover. The referee says it's going to be a free. And taken quickly into Jack Carney. His jersey's pulled advantage, says the referee. Carney drives forward, looking for an option, goes left. There's no white shirt inside the 21 at the moment, so they're going to have to be patient and build slowly. Ball moved over to Freehan. Freehan goes for a bit of a run. Player coming out to meet him, but decides to cut back inside. Gives it to Keith Joyce. Player ahead of him is 40. He's going to Duffy. He's cut inside, switches the ball across, but nobody there. Almost like a soccer pass across the face of the goal, but nobody coming onto it. I don't think Joey Smith was expecting it to come so low. He was expecting maybe a bit more height in it, and Kilcommon come away, build again, and there's strong running, trying to get away from one, get away from two. Little loose kick pass from Mason, but the referee says there's a foul. And it's going to be a free for them, and it's going to be Owen McGrath to take it. Mason doesn't look comfortable, does he?
I think he has been excellent, and even his work rate is fantastic, and he's so important to them. And it's good to see that he's able to feature here again, because he'd be a massive loss to them.
Ball turned over. Kilmeena can come away with it. Little pass forward again to Joyce. Seen 3 or 4 early balls in this opening stage as the ball eludes everybody. John McGlynn lost sight of it. He shoulder in the back there maybe for Sean, but no, the referee says play on, and they're going to try and get a score. The referee says it was off the ground. Poor decision making there maybe, and just a little bit messy.
Yeah, it's been Kilmeena have had a couple of balls up front at the start of this half, and they probably should have got a score or two out of it, and the ball has been turned over without much pressure from Kilcommon really. So Kilcommon will be quite happy that they haven't conceded, because they've been second best.
Full-back driving out. Matthew Burke goes back in field. He's still going forward as Burke, and there's a loose ball. It looked like a 50-50 challenge maybe, but the referee says it was a foul, so it's going to be a free for Derek Moran. And he has a player free this side, and it's Joe Mason. Kilcommon 4 points down. We have just come up 4 minutes gone in the second half. Live view on Mayo GATV. Little chip pass forward again, looking for that little runner, just going left and right, and it's going to be a free in. And as you say, his movement is excellent.
It really is. We don't want to be going on about it all the time, but I mean, if he gets the ball and it's to his advantage even slightly, he'll win it, and that's another score. I think Kilmeena have missed 1 or 2 up here Kilcommon get this. This is just how they'd have wanted the second half to go, and it's back to a, hopefully, if he can tap this for himself, it'll bring it back to a goal.
So the referee is actually going to book showing a yellow card there. Seemed a bit harsh on that one.
Yeah, and it's a bad man to have a yellow on.
Yeah, on your full back, especially the guy marking.
Yeah.
And he taps that over. So it's 1-3 plays 1-6. There's a goal in it. And as we said, Kilcommon haven't been prolific scorers. They're going to have to change something. I'm sure that's what Paul McGarry and his management team would have
I think he'll be quite happy if it stays like this. It's just if Kilmeena had tapped those other 2 points and the lead went to 6, then you have a big problem. But it's back to 3 again, and it's right where they'd want it now. The next couple of minutes are important, and you need Jack Kearney to dominate, and that's a start there now.
It is indeed. Wins his own break, and Kilmeena are looking to drive forward. Ryder, the scorer of that goal in the first half for Kilmeena, giving them the advantage at the moment as the sun comes out of the sky here in Crossmalina. Madden across the field, gives it to Freehan. Little give and go inside. Joyce again on the ball. That's off the ground. Free in the low. And again, that's 3 or 4 times now. The pass has been to feet, not to hand.
Yeah, and you can't blame the conditions for that, because the sun has come out. There's no wind. If the ball hits the ground and goes from people today, you could understand it. But the last couple of passes from both teams have been guilty of maybe not finding the man and hitting the ground with the pass.
Yeah, it's Kilmeena. Looking to get back to intermediate football again, a club that, as we said, has around it for so long. But that's another diagonal ball. Gives it to Justin Healy. He's cut inside. Is there a chance of a goal here? Mishit. Was he pulled as he struck the ball? No, said the referee. The ball is Madden can't get the ball the first time. It comes to Ryan, and he's able to clear his lines, and that's a let off there for Kilmeena.
I think his standing foot was clipped as he was kicking that.
It looked like it.
We're a long way away from it, but that's what it looked like to me.
Chance goes Obeg in there, and he cut inside his man so well.
Yeah, again, it's another example of just how good he is in those situations.
Pass forward by Keith Joyce. Switches the play across, gives it to Joey Smith. Has a goal. Got the first score for Kilmeena. Got the goal for them, and it's going to be, as we said, a big ask here for the Kilcommon to try and work this chance and these opportunities. Slow, patient build up now. As we said, it's a lovely morning here in Crossmalina as that ball is coming inside. Freeing again. Good interchange of passes. Come back out again. O'Donnell and Free in the wing backs moving that ball around, and then there's an injection of pace from Madden trying to cut through, try to switch it back inside again to Sean Ryder, but again another pass goes to ground.
Yeah, I think he was unfortunate there, maybe not to get a free there as well, but the pass, as you said, has gone to ground, and it's the only pass that shouldn't be happening in these conditions today, because it's the only one that's really going to cost you.
Mark Tighe, lovely little ball inside. There's a one-on-one if they want to take advantage of it. Darren Murphy gives it inside to Justin. He cuts inside and is right this time. He's going to have a cut at goal, and that's inside the left hand upright. An accomplished finish off the right foot.
And what makes it more impressive is John Kane. I've seen him twice this year, and he was the man picking him up, and he has been really, really good, in those games. But he was the closest to him there. I don't know if he's picking him up or not.
Yeah, I think there's been a bit. I think he's on him, even though he's on a yellow.
Yeah.
And they might want to consider a change, because the last thing you want is to lose a player. But there's a foul here on the far side, and it's going to be Kilcommon ball. It's a sideline ball, says the linesman on the far side. Delaying the ball here, just trying to hit that high ball inside, and he's won it out in front, breaks to the ground, but Kane came across, and it's that danger ball. They know where the ball is going. Kane knows that ball is going to be delivered inside. Madden's gone back to help as well, but it's gone out for a 45 this time, but it's a danger ball. There was no challenge.
No, and Kilcommon will be delighted the way this is panning out, because they're turning Kilmeena over, they're breaking. It's down to 2 points. They've had a goal chance there they were unfortunate not to get. So I think Kilcommon will probably be the happier now in the second half. I think Kilmeena need Jack Kearney and Sean Ryder to come into the game more. They're so important to them, and they need to get a grip on this now.
There's a substitution on the Kilcommon team. It's Shane Moran who's come on. I think Joe Mason's been told to go off on the far side of the field. His day is over. They've obviously identified that he's not 100%, so starting of the midfielders, one for each side, has gone off. Kevin Ryder in the first half from Kilmeena, and it's Shane Moore now who's in for Kilcommon. And Joe Mason, as you said, that'll be a big loss around the middle. As you said, he's probably been the standout player there.
He has been the standout player here today.
45 hit with off the outside of the boot, and that's a love. Oh no, I thought the umpire was going for his flag there, and that's a wide now as well. And Kilcommon can't afford wides. It was a long way out, as we said, the 45, but they have to make the most of those chances.
Yeah, they're going to need all the point chances they can take, and it just shows you they've kept Kilmeena to the same score as they had at half time, and that's probably what they would have said leaving the dressing room, that they'll need to keep them to 3 more points in this half if they're going to win this.
Substitution on the Kilmeena side is going to be Niall Ryan coming on, and it looks like it is Niall Ryan. We'll just see who's been taken off. I think it's is it Joey Smith taken off by the look of it. So back underway, and there's a free in the middle of the field. Jack Kearney with the ball in his hands, he's looking for option. You have 2 substitutes now on. Neil Duffy's on. Stark came on for Ryder in the first half. Lovely ball delivered inside. John McGlynn goes in field, chip pass up. Derek Keaveney, haven't seen too much of him in this second half, and he sets off on a run, loses the ball on the solo, gets it back, shaped for a shot, took a solo, recycles the ball back up, but looked like it was going to be a 50-50, but Niall Freehan did well to get it, and Freehan goes in field back to McGlynn to Ryder, runner coming from deep. Is lovely finish from Jack Kearney. He got 1 in the first, he's got 1 in the second. Yeah. Super score from Jack Kearney.
And again, Sean Ryder, I know it's a little pop pass, but it's at the right time. And as I said a couple of minutes ago, the 2 of them are going to be crucial if Kilmeena can drive on and win this. And now with Mason gone, Jack Kearney could probably dominate in that area if he, and that's his first sign of it, I think.
Yeah, I think what Kilcommon have done is they've pushed Sean Murphy to midfield to try and combat the loss of Joe Mason, so to try and free him up from the half back line, and it's going to be an interesting battle now between himself and Jack Kearney. It's 1-7 plays 1-4 in the Junior A Championship final live for Mayo JATV. Don't forget we have 2 games. We have another match for you later. Oh, that comes off the crossbar. That's going to come out to win it. Kane comes inside trying to clear his line. Dangerous ball. It looked like he wasn't going to clear it properly, and it was number 17. I think it was Tomas Cill. I don't know where he popped out of. He's on the field now as well. I think they've taken off. Yeah, they took off Paddy Kane. Yeah, Tomas Gill was starting, and that was almost a goal. It's a carbon copy of everything Kilcommon have tried to do. Good ball inside to Justin. He probably could have maybe tried to go a bit further with that. It was kind of a shot to nothing. Comes back off the crossbar. A bit of pressure put on the Kilmeena defender, and they get a 45 out of it. They could do with this now to close the gap. Yeah, so it's going to be Declan Murphy, probably just in line with the 5 metres from the left-hand upright, maybe. If he makes a good connection. No, gets too much under the ball. One well though out in the front, trying to drive out, loses the ball in the contact. Well worked there by Stephen Staunton. No, says the referee. The referee says he's fouled. He touched it on the ground, says the referee. Well, if you have 3 players coming around you, you hit the ground. Yeah. You haven't much chance. I thought the Kilcommon man took a lot of steps when he won the initial ball, and probably should have been a free out, but they've pressured the Kilmeena defenders, and another turnover. They could do with this now to, as I said, to close the gap. Derek Moran off his right boot. Julie obliges, pops it over. It's now back to a 2-point game, and as you said, Kilcommon will be more than happy to have restricted Kilmeena to literally that point. I'd say if Paul McGarry in the dressing room at half time there was probably looking to keep the game like this, and Owen Sweeney and the Kilmeena management will probably be hoping that they would have got more scores at this stage in the second half, and imagine they would have too, I'm sure. High ball out around the middle to Kearney. Can't get his first time. It breaks kindly though for Keith Joyce. The referee says no, there was a foul. There was a push in the back, says the referee. It's going to be a free in front of the stand. Supporters not happy with the decision, but Kilcommon continue on with the game. Ball delivered forward, touched on the ground, possibly no, says the referee. O'Donnell trying to prevent the ball from going in field. Little again chip pass forward to just toward he comes outside. It's going to come on his right. Absolute peach of the score. You'd have to say that's the score of the game so far. It is, and again it's like you know what's coming, you know the tactic, and you can do nothing about it. There's defenders they're not alone, or they're not able to stay with them, but they're 2 steps off him. It's fantastic. He's just brilliant footballer, and I said it before the game. He has something to offer at the next level, I think. And it's a 1 point game now for Kilmeena. Get that break. Kearney chips it inside to Duffy. Duffy trying to break again. There's going to be a change for Kilmeena shortly. That Paddy Kane is going to be coming in as a third man tackle there. Possibly, no, says the referee. They're breaking forward. Derek Keaveney switches inside, gets it back. Keaveney pops it over the bar off his fist pass. Lovely little flick between himself and Ryder. Little give and go. Intelligent football.
Yeah, Ryder, like, while he's been quiet by his own standards today, he still is that link man. Those lovely little passes. He's really quick hands and he sees things, and he played in Derek Keaveney there, and Keaveney's tapped it over or punched it over the bar.
So Paddy will be coming back in. We're just going to have a look and see who's coming off. He's jogging back to the full back line. It could be a straight swap. Yeah, it's just a reversal of the start. So off comes Tomas Gill, I think. Yeah, Tomas Gill coming off, Paddy Kane going in, and it's back to a 2 point lead for Kilmeena. But as you say, it's simple football. When you do it right, you'll get the benefit of it.
Yeah, and again, Kearney and Ryder are so important to Kilmeena in the way they play, that those two, when they're influential, mean Kilmeena are playing well.
Sean Murphy can't get it first time, but gets the break as Jack Kearney flew at the ball, and he's pushing forward, being closely marshalled by Keith Joyce, trying to turn the ball over. Little kick pass. Kearney's there again, pushing the back on Joyce. He goes down, and it's going to be a free for Kilmeena. And the calves and the hamstrings, the cramp will be starting to come on this heavy ground.
Yeah, that's the problem with playing club football this time of year. In fairness to club players, it's a bad time of year and pitches are heavy, and it can be very difficult in the latter stages of games.
O'Donnell cuts inside, gives it back to Ryder, has a runner off his shoulder. That's Joyce. Shifted across. Duffy back around again. Hand in. McGlynn can't get it. Gets it back. Contact there. Player free is O'Donnell again. Tries to get the ball first time. Gets it at the second attempt. Player free there, coming back around. If they want to use him, John McGlynn is all on his own. Closed down very quickly. John Ryan from cornerback gives it to Sean Ryder, the captain, with the outside of his right boot. That's over the bar. If whatever Justin Hingle can do at this end, Sean Ryder will do at that end.
Yeah, and as I've said, he's a very influential player, and a couple of moments of brilliance, a couple of assists and a point for himself, and he was the man who scored the goal. I think the mark of a really good player is the day maybe where it's not going for you and you can still influence the game, and that's what he has been. The last 10 minutes he has been quite influential. The
two captains leading by example here for both their respective teams, as that kick out is chipped out. Kilcommon find themselves back to a 3 point game. We have coming up to the second water break. The referee blows his whistle for a free, and he brings it back, and it's taken quickly, chipped forward. One out in front of his man by Mark Tide, trying to turn inside. Staunton's away. They're going to be looking for Healy inside. He points which way he wants it. It's going to go possibly over the head of the defender. No, bats it down. Good work. They've got more numbers back there in and around. They've at last recognised the danger, but then there's a poor pass again, and Madden hits the ground. He's judged to have been fouled. The referee blows the whistle for the water break, and it's a 3 point game.
Yeah, Owen McGrath will be disappointed with that. The ball broke out to him there, and he failed to pick it up, and Kilmeena break away just before the water break. You could see they had an extra man on Justin there. I think there's 3 now. I think there's 2 in front of him and a marker. Well, I mean, it's obvious this is what they're going to do. So when you have that couple of points lead, it's probably the only way Kilcommon are going to win this game. So they seem to have put numbers back there to deal with him.
Yeah, and it's, as we said, it's been an entertaining game, low scoring. We didn't expect big scores, 1-9 to 1-6, as you said. For Kilcommon, it's a big score. For Kilmeena, maybe not so much. But with conceding only the 3 points in that quarter of football, Kilcommon still feel they're in that game.
They still feel it, and I think that's what their management would have wanted, leaving the dressing room, to be in it at the water break with the score. Because that goal before half time for Kilmeena you'd probably be thinking they'll come out now and tap on a few scores and widen that gap, and it'll be just too far for Kilcommon to bridge. But they're still in it, and they're still there, and we've seen with Justin one little ball inside, and he could end up with one in the back of the net.
Absolutely, and as we said, it's a simple game plan Kilmeena use, and they're just able to find little pockets of space. And as we said, Derek Keaveney hasn't had a major influence on the game, but he's popped up with a couple of scores, and he's created a couple. He's got one for himself. He hasn't had the major impact that he normally would have in a game.
No, and I think in fairness to John McGlynn and Derek Keaveney, that kind of defensive system is very hard to play against, and the life of the corner forward can be very one of those positions where everybody sees you don't play well, but it's hard to play well with 10 players back in front of you. But both of them have handled the ball well when it's come to them, done the right things, and as I said, Sean Ryder being more influential has just pushed Kilmeena that small bit ahead of Kilcommon.
And as a corner forward, usually it's the shepherd's crook that you get when it's not going.
You're the first target, you're the first man gone.
So we're back underway with a free on Kilmeena's own 45. Little give and go between Ryan and Madden. Kilmeena 3 points to the good. We're into the championship minutes now, into the final quarter of the Junior A Championship for 2021. Who will be playing intermediate football next year? And all will unfold here on Mayo GA TV. Live view from Crossmalina in the TF Royal Junior Football Championship final. John Ryan. Little give and go with Fian. Gets it, drops it. Good turnover. Good work there by the substitute. Shane Moran turns the ball over. Trying to break away here is Owen McGrath. McGrath to Derek Moran. Long ball forward out in front of him. Good hand in. Strong hand in by John Kane. But Justin still has the ball in his hand. He's going to take on two. He's trying to cut inside man. Puts the brakes on it. Comes back on his left. Doesn't make a great connection. It's going to just fly across the 13-metre line. And there is Fian back defending. Hand pass back to the goalkeeper. Back to Paddy Gordon. Infield to Ryan. Sells the dummy hand pass and decides to go forward.
Justin will be disappointed with that. They needed him to hang on to the ball. Great work rate here and a great delivery inside by Derek Moran. They needed something out of that, and a turnover cheap like that is not good at this stage of the game.
Sean Ryden gives a little wrap around pass to Keith Joyce. Joyce to the Neil gives it to Duffy. Duffy comes back out to Joyce. Going to have a cut from a tight angle off his right boot. Going to drop just under the crossbar. Goalkeeper comes out. Aaron does really well. Watch the flight of the ball all the way, and again, poor decision making there. Maybe
it's poor from Kilmeena. Then in return, exactly the same thing, where you have a good chance to slot one over and you drop it in the keeper's hands.
Advantage coming, says the referee, in that Kilcommon are still trying to get another opportunity. They need to just close the gap ever so slightly as the minutes tick down. And as we said, they haven't been prolific with goals this season. They've got one today. Can they get another one to make Kilcommon's life more difficult as they march on towards junior title? It's fascinating to watch the little ways that the teams, the idiosyncrasies of each team.
And they're both set up pretty similarly now. Kilmeena have gone to that kind of thing to protect their goal lead. You do get the impression, and probably before the game as well, that Kilcommon would need a second goal to win a game here today. Derek
Moran delivers a long diagonal ball in, but there's, as we said, the white shirts out in front of him, but he still won from a break, surrounded by four. The referee is watching this closely. Over Carrion, says the referee. If you do, and that's sensible defending from those four. They didn't put the hand in; they just crowded it out.
There's four people around him there. I don't know how he won that, but again, it was always going to be a free, and it's the correct decision.
Duffy goes infield to Kearney, switches the play over to the far side. Kilcommon legs look a little bit weary here. It's taken a lot of energy for them to defend in numbers and then try and get it up the field, as well as Jack Kearney switches the direction of the play back infield to Duffy. To Feehan. Look, getting his head up. There's only one player inside the Kilcommon 21 at the moment, so they're going to have to come back out and around. Patient build up from Kilmeena. Back to Fian, pops it over the top to Sean Ryder. Keith Joyce is available if he wants to use him. There's a player free on the far side as well. Jack Kearney makes a little dart forward, doesn't receive the ball. Ryder switches again, loose ball but taken well, shifted over the top. He kept his run going, trying to join the attack is John McGlynn, but Ryder says no, I've got this, and he does. Now there's a problem here for Keith Joyce as well. He's put his hands up. I think he was stretching his calves a while ago. I think he's put his hand up to say he's done. So they're going to make a change here. I think it's number 26 is going to come in. Kieran Sheridan, I think. Yeah, they're going to have to make that change. Keith Joyce knows he can't afford to
Sean Ryder, as we've mentioned a good few times, has really influenced the game. You know, the crucial scores, crucial times, the goal before half time, that point there and the point before that, a couple of assists. He has been the main player in pushing Kilmeena that bit ahead.
Sean Moore is on, as is Kieran Sheridan, and Kilmeena win the kick out as well. It's a 4-point lead now for Kilmeena. Kilcommon need primary possession of the ball at this late stage.
Yeah, and in fairness, the Joe Mason having to go off there has had a big impact on the game. Yeah, Kilmeena have really taken a foothold since that, and they've got the scores to go with it.
Miscommunication there between the two, but the ball eventually makes its way out to Kieran Sheridan. Sheridan looking for a little bit of support, being pressured well there by Owen McGrath. The referee says it's a throw pass or a push, and it's going to be Kilcommon on the attack. They need to get a score. They have to get something in the next few minutes, otherwise the game could be out of their reach. And the ball flies over to the far side. Staunton comes over. Jack Carney's back helping his centre back. The referee says there was a foul. It's going to be a free on the far side for Kilcommon, and they still only have one forward inside, and that's a loose pass. That's completely the wrong decision.
Yeah, it's madness at this stage. They actually look a bit tired, Kilcommon. They've put a big shift in and they've worked so hard, but that would kill defenders now. When you win a free, it was soft enough, and then you go and kick it straight to a sweeper, like mental.
McGlynn goes in field, continuing his run forward with Sheridan, tackled straight away. Flying out came Cathal Doherty. Derek Keaveney hugs the touchline. Kilmeena now are just going to try and wind down the minutes. They have 5 minutes plus whatever the referee is going to allow for additional time. And pushing forward is Duffy. Has made a big impact since he came in for Kevin Ryder. And there's another shot at the post here, and that's over the bar. Super finish. No, says the referee, it was wide. It looked as though it was over.
It looked over from here, yeah.
The players are protesting. The umpire wasn't sure. It looked from here that it was over. There's another substitution being made. He was already on. No, he was supposed to come on and he didn't. So, yeah, they've brought on Sean Moore, that substitution. And it looks as though there's going to be a double substitution on the Kilcommon side as well. It looks like they're taking off Declan Murphy for Kilcommon. Kilcommon have brought on Dahi McSullivan.
Dylan Walker, I'd say. Walker, is it?
Dylan McGrath. Or no, Dylan Walker. Dylan Walker, sorry. Dylan Walker is on for Kilcommon in the middle of the field. They need to get legs out there, as you said. The midfielders have put in a big shift and they've started to get tired. So both the Kilcommon midfielders are off. Both Joe Mason and Declan Murphy. And Kilcommon, they're still only 4 points down.
Yeah, and that's it. The game is still there, but that extra point from Sean Ryder there, has allowed Kilmeena to be that bit more relaxed on the ball, and maybe, they have the players on the pitch now with Neil Ryan and some experience like that they're probably going to try and see this out.
So the referee is given a free. As we said, we're going to be playing the last few moments plus whatever the referee is going to allow. That's a good hit from that distance. Super score. It brings it back to just the 3. There's still a chance here for Kilcommon if they can get it. It was the full forward, Dara Murphy. He's got a goal and 2 now in this game.
The last thing you want as a team or a manager is it's nice to have a 3-point lead, but coming into the closing stages of a game, it's that dangerous lead, in a final particularly.
As was famously said one time, it's down to squeaky bum time. Yes. And it's going long. Slips as he strikes the kick out, but it gets into the safe hands of Jack Carney in the middle of the field. Claims his mark and chips it forward to Paddy Kane. Little fist pass forward, finds Duffy. Little runner's great tackle there. Has strong, good hand in by Owen McGrath. Manages to turn the ball over, but he could lose it himself in the contact here. The defender, the referee blows his whistle. Said it was a foul. It's going to be a free.
He's lucky there. He's lucky there now.
It could have been dangerous.
It was a great tackle initially from
Owen McGrath. Yeah. Got a good hand in. So Kilcommon are going to have to throw bodies at this now. They're playing with 2 inside at the moment. They're going to have to try and create something. His heel is caught as he was coming out.
That's a foul.
Wasn't seen. It looked as though it was a foul, but the referee didn't catch it. So Kilmeena can have possession of the ball with Staunton. Spins away from 1. decides to go all the way back to the goalkeeper, goes back the way to go, and he's looking for options. There's just black shirts in front of him, but eventually Ryan pops up at centre back and he's able to carry the ball forward. That's been the impressive thing today with Kilmeena. Their whole defensive line are happy and comfortable carrying the ball, and no better man to carry the ball at this time is Sean Ryder. Lays it off, gives it off to the substitute, hits high into the sky from Niall Ryan, but it's gone to the left and wide.
He's an experienced player, Niall. He'd be disappointed that he didn't tap that one. He could have given it back maybe to Sean Ryder on the way through and got the insurance point. But again, we're at that 3-point lead. They haven't pushed it on.
They haven't, and they're persisting with going short, and they chip the ball forward to Matthew Burke, being pressured by Kieran Sheridan. Goes to the other substitute, lays it off, gives it to Mark. He loses the ball, and Kearney under pressure. They're going. Kilmeena are definitely pushing up, but if they decide to go over, there's, as we said, there's more Kilcommon players committing forward now, and Kilmeena know that they just have to hold out for the next few minutes, and they'll be county champions and they'll be playing intermediate football.
I think this is sensible by Kilcommon to work it through the hands instead of trying to deliver it in, because Kilmeena have 3 people back, so that would mean you'd have 2 extra men or 3 extra men around the middle, so you're as well off keeping the ball and trying to work something as kicking it in to Justin and 3 men on him.
But what you need then is you need the runners breaking the line, and you want those crash runners coming through at pace, and at the moment, as you said, the legs seem to be going to the Kilcommon players as Feehan tries to turn the ball over, loose hand pass taken well by Darramore, chips it off, little flick on. There's a chance here of a score if they work it. Player over on the far side, good defensive work by O'Donnell, turns the ball over, but Kilcommon still have it. Their supporters cheering them on, trying to hope that they can get an opportunity. It's going to be dropped in around the house. It falls to Healy, it comes out in front. It's still in field. It's gone for a 45. Madden took a bang to the head. There was 3 players who went up for the ball, and it's going to be a 45.
I think he's given it wide, is he? And he's calling for attention, to the injured player. I think he's signalling that the umpire on the far side, I think, has said it's wide, and this man is looking for attention. I'm not sure now, but
Madden,
the sun is difficult to see.
So it's a wide ball. You can see what they were trying to do, drop it in around the house. And another substitution for Kilcommon. It's the number 5 coming off.
John Francis Coyle.
Yeah. Just waiting to see who's gone on.
I think it's
it'll be the man with the cleanest uniform anyway, because 20 the player with the bun, 19, so that's Seamus Murray. So the last roll of the dice for Kilcommon is also number 20 is Rory Gallagher. Is it Rory Gallagher?
Rory Ginty.
Rory Ginty. No, so he can't make the change just yet, says the 4th official. We're down, as we said, to the championship minutes. It's the next possession of the ball is vital. The umpire and the linesman and the referee are having a conversation just to check possibly how much time there is. 5 minutes, I think, is the additional time, is what signals from the official to each other. The full back, Matthew Burke, is still on the field. I think they were trying to make that change, but he's having to go back to his position as Kilmeena are pushing forward still. Niall Feehan, who's been up and down this pitch all afternoon. Kilmeena just have to keep possession of the ball and do nothing stupid, as Jack Kearney is almost rugby tackled by the defender. Gives it to Ryder. Kearney's gone into a little pocket there at full forward, but Kilmeena are going to try and play keep ball here. It's a dangerous game to play. Paddy Kane to Duffy. Gives it back out to Stephen Staunton. Squeeze is the call from the management of Kilcommon. They want them to push up on them if they're going to be playing this kind of possession football. It's a dangerous ploy by Kilmeena. If there's a turnover, they could be caught out, as Kearney gives it back to John Ryan. Over to O'Donnell. The shadows cast from the sun this afternoon. It's a high noon sun, and Ryder goes down under a challenge, and you can just see what Kilmeena are trying to do. Kilcommon are trying to turn the ball over because they need possession, but Kilmeena are happy to keep it and just try and sap every amount of energy out of the Kilcommon legs.
They're used to the ball there, and they're keeping the ball under pressure. It's a dangerous game. A lot of people would see that as a dangerous game, but it's very sensible. And Sean Ryder, it was a foul, but it was a tire tackle by Kilcommon. You know that feeling when you're trying to turn over the ball and it's at the end of the game and the legs are gone. It's one of those. Could be very costly though.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do here with this free. Jack Kearney with the ball in his hands, and Lorna Parka, he has a runner behind him. Coming to get it is Stephen Staunton. Coming across is Niall Feehan. Feehan decides he's going to have to come back the way he came. Then there's convergence of black and white shirts, but they're able to evade them quite quickly as the numbers are there in that 45 area as Connor Madden, who's been playing sweeper for most of this game, pushes forward. Little pass with Ryder. Pops it back to him. O'Donnell now available. Gets his head up looking for a runner. No, decides to go back. Gives it to Niall Ryan. Ryan goes all the way back to John Ryan. Little interchange of hand passes. This is just frustrating Kilcommon now because they need possession of the ball. And this is getting dangerous now for Kilmeena. The referee blows his whistle. It's all over. Kilmeena are the Junior A Tiafoil County champions for 2021. And on the balance of play, Sean, you'd have to say they deserve it.
Yeah, on the balance of play, and I think on the balance of the whole season, I think, as I said at the beginning, maybe Kilmeena have been the outstanding team in the championship this year, and they've got their just rewards today. Kilcommon should be happy with their season. You know, they've got to a final, gave a good account of themselves and kept it close, and they probably had the standout player over the season in the junior in Justin, but Kilmeena's big players stood up. Sean Ryder there at the end of the game in that 20 minutes in the second half really showed his class, and the goal before half time, and he was well marked, but he still was the influential figure, I suppose, in winning this for them.
He was indeed, and to be fair to Kilmeena, as you said, they're set up as an intermediate club. When you look at the way that their strength and conditioning is, the way that their physicality, the game that they play, the technical players they have everything to be able to push on to that next level.
Yeah, and I think you saw that with Kilmaine this year. Again, I'd have experienced Kilmaine firsthand with Ardell last year. They are on a different level. Look at some of the beatings they gave to teams in their league this year and in the championship, show how good Kilmaine are, and Kilmeena will go up and will make an impact on the intermediate championship too. They won't be just a draw filler next year. They will be a team that could get to the knockout stages of that quite easily. And
Kilmeena did it with Kevin Ryder going off in the first half, an influential midfielder for them, but Duffy came in and did a great job there around the middle of the field with Jack Kearney.
He was very good, yeah, and he worked extremely hard, and he had a lot of possessions, and you'd be kind of thinking, if you have a sub that good, that he should certainly, I suppose it's a sign of their strength and depth, yeah, that he could come in and be as effective as that and maybe not start the game.
So it's delight for Kilmeena and their supporters. It's despair for Kilcommon. Another year in Junior A beckons for them next year. It's been a very entertaining junior championship overall, Sean, and it promises to be probably even more exciting next year.
Yeah, well, I've said this to a few people. There are probably 6 teams in the junior championship that could easily compete in the intermediate championship, and there's Mayo football is so competitive that take away probably the top 8 senior teams, there isn't that much between the bottom 4 or 5 senior teams all the way down to junior. It's very unusual. Any of those teams could beat each other. In fact, they do in the league.
Yep.
Kilcommon beat Davits this year, and Davits are a senior club. That happens quite regularly, and it shows the strength of football in Mayo. As
the likes of Achill, yourselves, we've got Swinford coming down from intermediate. You've got Island Eady, who are strong, and Shrewell coming good. And then tomorrow we have the Junior B final between Eastern Gales and Tourmacady, one of those coming up. Yeah. It's going to be, it's actually, as you said, the gap between, take out maybe the top 6 or 7, competitive football in Mayo has developed very well over the last 6 years.
I mean, even going back to, we'd say Kiltane won an intermediate title in 2013, and there was a big gap then because you go down from senior and you come straight back up. What you're noticing now is the teams are coming down from senior and they're not going straight back up. And a lot of really good teams are in junior football and would easily compete in intermediate football and beat intermediate teams and beat them in the league. Look at Kilmaine, how difficult they found to get out of junior, and they're one of the best teams in Division 2. Lewisburg now, up into Division 1 as well, an intermediate team there. So I think the gap is actually closing, and I think it's a good sign.
And you've got prior to them, you had the Neil coming from junior, go up to intermediate, up into senior, win the Ball, another example. Yeah. So as you say, the quality of the football in Mayo is probably the highest it's ever been across all the championships.
Yeah, across all the championships. While I would say maybe at the top end of the senior, you're not sure if it is, but all the way from, we'll say, the bottom 3 or 4 senior clubs all the way down to the top 6 junior teams are pretty evenly matched.
And as you said, there's players here who would be worth a look for a Mayo. Justin, Jack Carney, Derek Keaveney, Sean Ryder. All of these players have the ability to be able to push on.
Yeah, and I mean, Justin, like, he's lost the game today there, but I mean, you know, if you can see somebody, people would say it's junior football. Like, I'm making the point that the gap is not as big. There are intermediate players playing with Mayo, and that man, what he's done today and the type of attention he's getting, you know, has been pretty impressive. And I think anybody who was here to watch it would agree with that. Like, if you're getting that kind of attention, you can stand out to that extent. You know, you have talent. There's no question about it.
You do indeed. And it's, as we said, with the trophy presentation will be made shortly, and there'll be plenty of parties going on in Kilmeena this evening and around the local areas. There'll be, I don't think the 12 o'clock curfew will come into effect somehow.
It might be a day late. But in fairness to them, they have been working towards this. I've actually, as I said, seen a lot of junior football, I suppose, in the last couple of years. And to be fair to them, they are really good, and they're a club that are moving in the right direction, and they deserve this. You know, I think it's early 2000s since they won it before, so they deserve this. And you know, I see Pat Mulcrone there, a guy who's playing football for a long time with Kilmeena, and it's nice to see people like that, and Neil Ryan getting their medal today. And a lot of these other guys are very young, so there's no reason as to why you said they can't make an impact next year. But I'm sure they'll have a good few days now enjoying themselves.
You can't underestimate, both for Kilcommon and Kilmeena, the impact that this has with their underage.
Oh, it has a huge impact. I actually think both of those clubs are a credit with their underage. Anyway, I would come across Kilcommon a bit where I'm living now with Arda, and I've seen it with Kilmeena that their underage structure is pretty good. I think they were in a B final this year against Crossmolina.
Yeah.
You know, and when you see that from a club like that, it means things are going in the right direction. And that a lot of those Kilcommon players played A football a few years ago, which is a big thing for a club like that.
So here in Crossmolina, Kilmeena are the TF Royal Junior A County Champions for 2021. Commiserations to Kilcommon. My thanks to Sean Kerr for his company this afternoon. It's been an enjoyable game of football, you'd have to say. And our thanks to Crossmolina for being accommodating as well. Don't forget, we have more football coming for you today. We have the intermediate final between Ballyhaunis and Mayo Gales. A quick thought on that one?
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to call. Mayo Gales again are a coming team. A lot of good underage. I actually teach with Tommy Kane there at the moment. He started in Foxford, so I'd be hoping it goes well for him.
So you have the inside track, is it?
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, Keith and Ballyhaunis, like, I mean, you have to admire, you know, what they're doing there. And young Jack Coyne is a very fine footballer as well. So Ballyhaunis are probably on paper would be a lot of people's favourites, but I actually think Mayo Gales might sneak that today.
And tomorrow we have the Junior B final for you live from Claremorris. Eastern Gales and Tourmakeady, another big battle there as well. Yeah, that's a big game. It'll be important for both of those clubs. I think Eastern Gales are probably a bit further on in their development. They're probably unfortunate not to have got out of their group. On paper, a lot of people would see them as a very good team. Tourmakeady, we played them and they're very difficult, a bit like Kilcommon. They're hard to play against. It'll be hard to get scores, but you'd imagine Eastern Gales would have probably that bit more quality to win it. And then the big one, Knockmore and Belmullet. It's a mouth-watering contest when you consider Knockmore, given their run, their league wasn't great. Their championship has just been building towards this point, and Belmullet, the support they have is phenomenal. Yeah, well, I suppose teaching in Foxford, I know nearly all of those Knockmore players. I think Kevin McLaughlin is probably the only one I'd say that will play tomorrow that you wouldn't have seen in the school at some stage. So they have a serious amount of talent. I don't think people realise how many really good players they have. You know, you could swap anyone from 15 to 25 in that squad in Knockmore's team, and I don't think it'd make a bit of difference. I think you saw that the last day. But Mullet are a sum of their parts, and I think Damien Mulligan deserves huge credit because he has got a group that were intermediate a couple of years ago to be very, very competitive, and I don't know if he's got the credit he deserves for getting them to where they are. And you know, everyone has written them off, and you know, that's a dangerous thing. But I mean, Knockmore are Knockmore. I don't know if you'll beat them twice in the one season, but that's it. So we'll live in hope. We'll live in hope. But as we said, 3 mouth-watering games of football still to come here for Mayo GA TV. As we said, our thanks to everybody for watching, and we'll see you later on.